Okay. Apart from the 5 aggregate, there is a 12 ayatanas and 18 dhatus, which are also told by Avalokiteshvara as a non-existent. The purpose of covering the 12 ayatanas and the 18 dhatus is essentially to say that the world of subject and object are equally emptiness, and emptiness, the four aspects of emptiness. Basically, Buddhists don't accept that there is an independent object or subject. Okay, there's no independent subject, independent from object. There's no independent object that's independent from subject. Independent. Before the subject, object. Before the object, subject. Buddhists don't accept that. So actually, Buddhists don't really accept sort of objectivity or something, objective point of view. It's always a subjective. This is how one of the Buddhist schools called Vaibhashika Buddhism, they refute the existence of Almighty Creator. We are supposedly, believing the Almighty Creator came first, and then He created all. But for the Buddhists, they don't accept that, because until someone thinks that he or she is the Almighty Creator, there is no phenomenon called Almighty Creator. And within this context, I'd like to just tell you this, because we are in Kathmandu and we are surrounded by deities. So I'm going to talk a little bit about deity, even though this is not the right time. We are not talking about Tantra, and deity is related to Tantra, but I just want to clarify this. The Sanskrit word Deva, Bhagavan, Deva. The real deity is Prajna Paramita. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. That's the real deity. But that is difficult to be, it's difficult to understand by us who are so used to tangible things. So it's a bit like this. Okay, let's say I'm the teacher. Let's say I'm a good teacher. And I have these students from the very, very, the complete, really good faculties to all, it's lower. And then I say to the best one, introduce the shunyata. And then he or she will, as the teacher introduces, he or she will recognize it. That recognition is the veneration to the deity. Then dwelling in that view, because he or she is still not the best, still need to go, remaining in that view, dwelling in that view is actually making offerings and getting acquainted with the deity. That's it. Okay? And then, slightly lesser disciple, okay? That disciple can't accept this shunyata. Just not possible. He or she wants something to cling on. But he or she is still good, very good. And since we are very near Parping, I'm going to talk from the point of Vajrayogini Tantra a little bit. And then I will tell this disciple, your deity is this circle, tigle, a circle, that's it. A dot, a circle, sort of.
The first one?
Yeah, second one, sort of there. First one, only shunyata.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that disciple will try to maintain that. That's their practice. his or her practice. And even that, for the third one, the third class, difficult to understand. What do you mean? I prostrate to a circle? I worship a circle? What do you mean? This is too simple. Then I will letter bum. This is your deity, nothing else. Okay. Now the fourth class. Even that is too much, too simple. So the fourth class, the teacher has to check what kind of person or is this person. A very angry person, very passionate person, so on and so forth. And this gets a little so it's not a fixed thing. So I'm just giving you as an example. So here I have a nun. You understand? Here I have a nun who I think, okay, she actually has sort of an inner kinkiness. Yeah. She can't accept. Letter bum is too, simple. Don't know how to use that. And knowing that she's a little bit kinky, then I say, yeah, Chakra Sambara now, beautiful blue hands, very nice looking. Chakra Sambara is one of the most beautiful looking deity. She falls for it, Chakra Sambara. And then I have a monk here. Then he can't handle with just a letter. Then I said, okay, I think there's a very deep horniness. Then I said, Vajrayogini. Even the Vajrayogini has many different. Even the Vajrayogini has many different. Okay. I will look at him and say, oh, well, yeah, maybe inside there is a little bit of naughtiness, but he's also not that naughty. Then I will say, okay, you should do the, Pamtingpa, Naropa, tradition, what is it, Vajrayogini. She sort of stands, kind of more sober look. But if this person, my disciple, the monk, can take it, this is not, I'm just giving an example, just because there happen to be monks and nuns in front of me. It's not implying anything, by the way. So, sorry. I have been resisting not to tease some of this, especially Matthew. I'm resisting. We used to travel together with Jabjit Rinpoche. And we always force him to sit next to Jabjit Rinpoche because, we are all a little bit, sometimes Rinpoche sort of appears to doze off, so we have to be always careful. So, because we want to have just relax, we always put him in front. And once we were in America, I bought itching powder. And I'm behind him, I slowly put some itching powder on his neck. Somehow we have a connection. Somehow he's in karmic debt with me to be teased. He needs. I even have photographs of him taking shower, but it's not here today. So anyway, so I'm just telling you the concept of the deity, because we were talking about God earlier, Almighty God, Almighty Creator. There's a Bauddhanath temple, there's a Swayambhu. All these are manifestation of the Prajnaparamita. The Buddhists, this is really important. Remember the view should not be lost. And so that's basically why there's a 12 ayatanas and 18 dhatus. After that, actually, Prajnaparamita goes even further. Marikpa seba mepani gashi sebi pardoya medo. Tejin dunga wada gunjunga gopada lam yeshimi tobe matopa medo. Just amazing. There is no ignorance. There's no also end of ignorance. There's no death. There's no end of death. There's no Four Noble Truths. This is the same guy who taught the Four Noble Truths. He's saying this. You need to know this. This is the brilliance of the Shakyamuni. Basically, it's important you know that Buddhism is not a survival kit for some tribes. It's not made only for Indians. It's not bound by culture, race, gender, none. The core teachings of the Buddha. So this is the information that you need to know. I mean, not in this sutra, but in some sutras, it's quite amazing, actually. For instance, Vajracedika Sutra, Vajracedika Sutra. It's so amazing. Like, it begins with how the Buddha folded his robes and put the begging bowl somewhere, and then he sat. All this setting, beautiful, as if they all matter. And towards the end, Buddha said, there is no teaching, there is no Buddha. It's incredible, So these are I have always thought, when you read the sutras, when I was younger, I used to skip the beginning part. Now I realize such a mistake. It's so important. Setting where he was and who was there. Now some sutras have something like 20 pages of who was there. The names of the bodhisattvas, names of the ghosts, names of the, gods, all that. Important. Read Avatamsaka Sutra. It's much more intriguing and fantastical than Star Wars. And it's so meaningful too. Because at the end of the day, Buddha's only purpose is to take you to the liberation. Okay, I will maybe take some questions.
The Prajna Paramita has everything to do with relationship and marriage. As a practitioner, he wants to realize Prajna Paramita, so he hoped that he can find a girlfriend in this place.
Okay. I will also pray.
人们却会帮你祈请。When practicing vipassana, when we have some thoughts come up, then we aware about the thoughts. Is that awareness also another thought?
Probably for now, but it's okay. It's very good.
Oh, you use mirror to explain the form is emptiness, empty is form. You say more about it? What's the mirror represent?
Just the mirror reflection of the mirror, right? Mirror?
He said the mirror.
Yeah. The reflection is, you can't really say it's not there. You can't also say it's really there. So that's what I was using the mirror. It's not the best example.
Rinpoche, could you please explain us why is Shariputra asking Avalokiteshvara and not, for example, Manjushri? Why is Manjushri not mentioned in the sutra?
Very good, very good. First of all, there are a lot of sutras where Manjushri is involved. Like a Vimalakirti Sutra, there Manjushri is a big part. Prajna Paramita, it does have this sort of connection with Avalokiteshvara. I have been asked this question before, and I don't have a proper answer, but I have a guess. Of all the bodhisattvas, if you lined up of all these bodhisattvas, one have to admit Avalokiteshvara is the most popular. For instance, in Tibetan Buddhism alone, the whole Nyingmapa, is connected to Avalokiteshvara. Guru Rinpoche and Avalokiteshvara, you know. Longu Tuji Chimbo, they say, Drugu Pema Jungne, you know, it's connected to Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is big business, and big. Avalokiteshvara takes in the form of Shiva, and that's how he manipulates these Indians. Avalokiteshvara goes to China and have a sex change. That's how she manipulates the Chinese. She's, you know, the Avalokiteshvara is really good. And then Avalokiteshvara, amazing thing about Avalokiteshvara. I've even seen Guanyin statues in the Taoist temple. That is just so, this shows she's just so good in coming in. Okay, I'm telling you this because there's something called Xingzhong. Xingzhong, how do you say? You know, the bodhisattvas, they pray for the future land. How do you? Yeah, manifesting the pure land. They are supposedly, they do that. And supposedly this desiring realm is something that Avalokiteshvara, when he was a younger sort of beginning bodhisattva, he really had the aspiration that this is his territory, so to speak. And also there are other things, like one would think that Avalokiteshvara is always going to talk about love, compassion, hugging, and all of that. But, you know, as you can see, he's as sharp as Manjushri, which is good. And the choice of Shariputra asking this is very important also. Because he's supposedly the smartest of all the arhats. Sharipu, you know, Sherpchen Namji Chok, we call him, he's the most smart one. So giving him the role for somebody who's asking the questions, you know, the smart guy asking the questions instead of answering, that's quite a good one. Okay?
Could you please talk a little bit about Tibetan practices that combine Prajnaparamita with compassion, and why the body offering called the Cho is probably the best one?
Why it is the best one?
Well, yes.
Okay. Actually, there's nothing that is Tibetan practice that is not combined, you know, Prajnaparamita and compassion. Nothing. But Pathamba Sanje and Machik Labdrin, they were very smart. They got the branding of the, you know, Prajnaparamita for their teaching. That's so good. Machik Labdrin, incredible. How she, you know, sort of, she defeats the four maras with the Prajnaparamita, with these four, you know, four aspects of the emptiness that we have been talking. And then she sort of has these four maras waging war towards the four maras with the four aspects of shunyata. You know, Machik Labdran, who can, she's a peerless. But Jo is a practice of taking the fear as the path. You know, let's say we are all hijacked or we are all terrorized right this very moment, and everybody's getting killed one by one. And then you, for instance, you or me, we are so afraid. But at the height of the fear, desperation, you suddenly end up becoming something so heroic. You understand? This is the element that Pathamba Sangye and Machik Labdran managed to sort of, you know, hype it up. Because in fact, as a samsaric being, we should be in that kind of paranoia all the time.
Rinpoche, this morning you were mentioning about someone might put a tattoo of the Buddha on their bum, and that person maybe shouldn't be punished. You mentioned like kill them or something. So, I mean, there's many examples of like someone's dress, they might have a Buddha below the waist, someone might put a Buddha on a doormat. I've seen such kind of pictures on like Facebook or something on media. So, I mean, also we're taught many times in preliminary teachings in centers don't put your feet towards the holy objects, towards the master, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So I mean, I want to ask, to what degree, are these
Hmm.
are like very good tips of mind training, and to what degree is it something like our misconception, or does it depend on situation and person?
This is all true. They are all right from all angles. It's all a motivation, like in the Gunzang Lami Shalung, the Tata, the small stupa, somebody tried to put it in a higher place, and then another body come, and then the shoe, they put it, and then another thought, we build a temple, all have an equal merit. It's like this, if somebody, like your friend, liking the Buddha's face, put a tattoo on his bum, that, he has some sort of a merit. But then on the other hand, you go, this is not the right thing to do. I will sponsor you to erase this. It's a good thing you should do. You should do that.
It's not automatically demerit, is what you're saying. It's not automatically demerit someone. Is it sort of automatically
No, it's
demerit?
all
but also
motivation.
It's all, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Rinpoche, you said the view of Buddha is that every component things is changing, is not fixed. So when we see something, we have likelihood or dislikelihood because of we have conceptions. But we all born with this kind of background. For example, Chinese, we have Chinese culture. Even the language has some culture.
Okay.
So how to do with this? If we are practicing with, for example, offering flowers or praying.
I have never said you should not practice those things. You must.
But is this using another conception instead of myself conception?
No. You should do whatever you think is good. For instance, we offer Buddha food because we human beings think food is important. It's not as if Buddha is hungry and that's why we are feeding. Can you remember that? What does he say?
Some of the question I don't understand, but some I wrote down. She said there are eight schools in Ningma-pa. Which school you belong to? And what are the 8 schools? And who is the leader of Ningma-pa?
Okay.
And why every time she chant Heart Sutra, especially the 4 sentences, she imagined a snake?
Okay, good. Nyingmapa's leader is Khenpo, Chojil Tisong Diwutsen, a king. Just tell her that. Sambhava is Indian, Shantarakshita is Indian. So from the Tibetan, blood and bone is the Tisong Diwutsen.
Hello, Rinpoche. How are you?
Very good.
I'm a great admirer of your faculties. I just have to say this.
Okay.
I was wondering, is another word for relative truth, could that be flexibility, versatility instead of deceptiveness? And if it's flexibility, does it matter? I'm not a British Buddhist, by the way, but why not cherry pick? It's all the same thing. You can be flexible. I'm sorry for interrupting your bladder.
Okay, 2 things I should tell you. You are improving with your character practice.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
The interesting question, I would actually use the flexibility to shunyata.
More on the
Flexibility is not necessary, flexibility sounds nice. Deception, you
tensions.
need that negative word. Just the mirror reflection of the mirror, right? Mirror?
He said the mirror.
Yeah, the reflection is, you can't really say it's not there. You can't also say it's really there. So that's what I was using the mirror. It's not the best example.
仁波切讲的是这个镜中的印象，不是在谈那个镜子，就是镜中的印象，你不能说它在那里，你也不能说它不在那里。 那当然这不是一个特别好的例子。
OK，谢谢。
Thank you, Rinpoche. Could you please explain us why is Shariputra asking Avalokiteshvara and not, for example, Manjushri? Why is Manjushri not mentioned in the sutra?
Very good, very good.
为什么这个《心经》里面是舍利子问观自在菩萨，而不是问文殊师利菩萨？为什么文殊师利菩萨没有在场？
First of all, there are a lot of sutras where Manjushri is involved.
仁波切说这个问题很好。那第一个呢，在很多经典里面呢，文殊师利都有在场。
You know, like a Vimalakirti Sutra, there Manjushri is a big part.
比如说《维摩诘经》，这个文殊师利菩萨是一个主要的角色。
Prajna Paramita, it does have this sort of connection with Avalokiteshvara.
这个般若波罗蜜多呢，跟这个观世音菩萨或者观自在菩萨是有特别的缘的。
I have been asked this question before, and I don't have a proper answer, but I have a guess. I am guessing something.
以前仁波切也有人问过他这个问题，仁波切说他没有一个恰当的回答，不过他有一种猜测。
Of all the bodhisattvas, if you lined up of all these bodhisattvas, one have to admit Avalokiteshvara is the most popular.
在所有的这个菩萨里面，如果你把它全部摆出来的话，观世音菩萨是大家最 popular 最受欢迎的。
For instance, in Tibetan Buddhism alone, the whole Nyingmapa is connected to Avalokiteshvara. Guru Rinpoche and Avalokiteshvara, you know. Longkutu Jichimbo, they say. Drugupema Jungne, you know, it's connected to Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is big business, and big.
那比如说在这个藏传佛教里面，比如提到宁玛派的话，这个观世音菩萨是非常重要的。这个当然我们莲师是跟观世音菩萨是非常有关系的。观世音菩萨是大人物在这里面。
Avalokiteshvara takes in the form of Shiva.
观世音菩萨也化现为这个湿婆神的形象。
And that's how he manipulates these Indians.
那这个是他的这个操纵这些印度人的办法。
Avalokiteshvara goes to China and have a sex change.
然后观世音菩萨到
And
了
that's
中国以后呢，改变性别了。
That's how she manipulates the Chinese.
那这是他操纵中国人的办法。
She's, you know, the Avalokiteshvara is really good. And then Avalokiteshvara, amazing thing about Avalokiteshvara. I've even seen Kuan Yin statues in the Taoist temple. That is just so, this shows she's just so good in coming in.
观世音菩萨是非常殊胜的，非常特别的。人们先说，在这个道教的寺庙里面还看到观世音菩萨，所以他很有办法，他到处都是。
Okay, I'm telling you this because there's something called Xinzhong. Xinzhong, how do you say? You know, the bodhisattvas, they pray for the future land. How do you? Yeah, manifesting the pure land. They are supposedly, they do that. And supposedly this desiring realm is something that Avalokiteshvara, when he was a younger sort of beginning bodhisattva, he really had the aspiration that this is his territory, so to speak.
那这个有一种说法是这个，人们先刚刚回答这个问题，有一种说法是观世音菩萨 是跟这个划线这个未来的净土有关系的。那尤其是当观世音菩萨还在很年轻的菩萨的时候，他发愿呢，就是希望欲界，就是我们在的这个欲界，就是他的场域。
And also there are other things, like one would think that Avalokiteshvara is always going to talk about love, compassion, hugging, and all of that. But, as you can see, he's as sharp as Manjushri, which is good.
那有很多人都以为观世音菩萨所代表的都只是这个慈爱啊、悲心啊、互相拥抱啊这种东西。可是大家看这个般若波罗蜜多，它是跟文殊师利菩萨一样的这个犀利的。
And the choice of Shariputra asking this is very important also.
那选择舍利子来问这个问题也是很重要的。
Because he's supposedly the smartest of all the arhats. Sharipu, Sharipachanamji Chok, we call him. He's the most smart one.
因为在这个所有的阿罗汉里面的舍利子是被认为是最聪慧的。
So giving him the role for somebody who's asking the questions, the smart guy asking the questions instead of answering, that's quite a good one.
那所以给他一个角色，说找这个最聪慧的人来问这个问题，而不是回答问题，这是非常重要的。
Okay.
Could you please talk a little bit about Tibetan practices that combine Prajnaparamita with compassion, and why the body offering called the Cho is probably the best one?
Why it is the best one?
Well, yes.
Okay.
请仁波切解释一下这个般若波罗蜜多在藏传佛教的修持里面跟慈悲心的关系，然后同时为什么这个施身法是最好的修持？
Yeah, actually, there's nothing that is Tibetan practice that is not combined, Prajnaparamita and compassion. Nothing. But Patamba Sanjay and Machik Labdun, they were very smart. They got the branding of the, Prajnaparamita for their teaching. Yeah.
那事实上没有任何一个藏传佛教的修持是不跟般若波罗蜜多以及大悲心有关系的。事实上所有都有关系。可是这个马吉拉尊就是那个施身法的创始人，跟这个糟糕忘了那个名字，就是他们非常会弄他们的品牌，所以跟这个般若波罗蜜多扯上关系。
That's so good. Machik Labdun, it's incredible how she, she defeats the four maras with the Prajnaparamita, with these four, four aspects of the emptiness that we have been talking, and then she sort of has these four maras waging war towards the four maras with the four aspects of shunyata, Machik Labdun, she's a peerless.
那这个施身法就是马吉拉尊呢，这个是非常殊胜的。他这个利用空性的这个或者般若波罗蜜多的这个四个面相来对这个四魔宣战，然后战胜这个四魔，所以他是独一无二的。
But Zhe is a practice of taking the fear as the path.
那可是这个就是这个施身法呢，是以恐惧或畏惧来作为法道。
Let's say we are all hijacked or we are all terrorized right this very moment, and everybody's getting killed one by one. And then you, for instance, you or me, we are so afraid. But at the height of the fear, desperation, you suddenly end up becoming something so heroic. You understand? This is the element that Patamba Sanjay and Machik Labdun managed to sort of, hype it up. Because in fact, as a samsaric being, we should be in that kind of paranoia all the time.
那所以这个施身法呢，事实上就是以恐惧来做法道了。就人们就说，假设我们现在所有人都被 劫持了，像在劫机的状况，然后所有人都要被杀死。那在这种极端的恐惧里面，我们都怕被杀掉，可是突然会有一种英雄式的这种情绪可能会出现。那这就是这个师生法，就是我刚刚忘记呢，就是帕坦巴桑给跟这个阿屈拉尊的这个师生法所重视的这个东西。那事实上，对我们轮回众生而言呢，我们随时都应该处在这种神经质的状态里面，就是恐惧这个轮回。
Rinpoche, this morning you were mentioning about someone might put a tattoo of the Buddha on their bum, and that person maybe shouldn't be punished. You mentioned like kill them or something. So, I mean, there's many examples of like someone's dress, they might have a Buddha below the waist, someone might put a Buddha on a doormat. I've seen such kind of pictures on like Facebook or something on media. So, I mean, also we're taught many times in preliminary teachings and centers, don't put your feet towards the holy objects, towards the master, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So, I mean, I want to ask, to what degree, you know, are these are like very good tips of mind training, and to what degree is it something like our misconception, or does it depend on situation and person?
This is all true. They are all right from all angles. It's all a motivation, like in the Gunzang Lami Shalung, the Tata, the small stupa, somebody tried to put it in a higher place, and then another body come, and then the shoe, they put it, and then another thought, oh, you know, we build a temple, all have an equal merit. It's like this, if somebody, like your friend, you know, liking the Buddha's face, put a tattoo on his bum, that, you know, he has some sort of a merit. But then on the other hand, you go, oh, you know, this is not the right thing to do. I will sponsor you to erase this. It's a good thing you should do. You should do that.
Yeah, it's not automatically demerit, is what you're saying. It's not automatically demerit someone. Is it sort of automatically
It's
demerit?
all
but also
motivation.
It's all, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
一切
Rinpoche, my first question is, what is a non-dual of compassion and wisdom? And my second question is the ultimate as same as the four directions of emptiness, or in other words, the interdependent origination? Are they the same or not? If they're not the same, so there must be another ultimate go beyond.
No, they are same.
Okay, so if they're the same, I have other two questions. So, sorry.
Okay.
So if they're totally same, nothing else but this. So firstly, why we say the ultimate is not within the reach of intellectual, and also why the ultimate can withstand the intellectual logic.
I didn't understand that part.
Yeah. So by intellectual, how to say? By intellectual investigation, we can logically understand the emptiness, the four directions.
Yes.
So why we still say the ultimate is not within the reach of intellectual, reach, R-E-A-C-H.
Yeah, well, because whatever you are intellectualizing is not really ultimate truth. It's sort of the reflection. There is a lot of explanations. Like if you haven't been to Bodh Gaya, you can look at a photo of a Bodh Gaya, which is not bad, you know. Then, you know, then when you go to the real Bodh Gaya, that's it, you know. So you can't really say the photo of the Bodh Gaya is the real Bodh Gaya. You understand? So it will help. And that's the only thing that we can do for people like us.
So then why we still say the ultimate can withstand the logic of relative truth? It can, if we investigate the ultimate, it won't break down. If we investigate by the relative.
Oh, breaking down, relative truth, it will break down. Whatever you are understanding, so-called the ultimate truth, if you analyze more, it will also break down. But that's not the real ultimate. That's why it breaks down.
This is too profound.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, Rinpoche. With your blessing, I dare to stand here to ask the question. I have read the expression that the nature of mind is that the union with emptiness and clarity. But however, sometimes I also read another expression in other books that like, the mind is emptiness and the mind is also clarity. Why there are two, sometimes it is the nature of mind and sometimes it is the mind.
Okay, I'll keep the question this in my mind and try to explain tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Can we let somebody, because I need to finish this, please, sorry, yeah.
Yes, Rinpoche, you said the view of Buddha is that every component things is changing, is not fixed. So when we see something, we have likelihood or dislikelihood because of we have conceptions. But we all born with this kind of background. For example, Chinese, we have Chinese culture, even the language has some culture.
Okay.
So how to do with this? If we are practicing with, for example, offering flowers or praying.
I have never said you should not practice those things. You must.
But is this using another conception instead of myself conception?
No, no, no. You should do whatever you think is good. For instance, we offer Buddha food because we human beings think food is important. It's not as if Buddha is hungry and that's why we are feeding.
So what? How?
How?
What is about the emptiness? I mean, this conception's relationship with emptiness. We're trying to reach the goal, the emptiness.
Okay, I understand. Okay. I think here we are having a problem of two truths, sort of not being able to merge and, okay, I will answer you in the teachings. Okay.
Because last month in Bodh Gaya, because there are so many mosquitoes, so she killed a lot. She knows that this is bad karma, but relatively, but ultimately everything is emptiness. So is there still karma for her?
Very good question. It's related to the earlier question. I will handle this tomorrow.
这个跟刚刚那
What is? Can you remember that? What is he saying?
Some of the question I don't understand, but some I wrote down. She said there are eight schools in Ningmapa. Which school you belong to? And what are the 8 schools? And who is the leader of Ningmapa?
Okay.
And why every time she chant her Sutra, especially the 4 sentences, she imagined a snake?
Okay, good. Nyingmapa's leader is Khenpo, Chojil Tisong Diwutsen, a king. Just tell her that. Because Nyingmapa is a Tibetan stuff. Padmasambhava is Indian, Shantarakshita is Indian. So from the Tibetan, blood and bone is the Tisong Diwutsen. Okay.
好，下一位。
Please be quick because the bladder is about to be burst.
Sorry.
请大家问快一
I could be
点
going。out of the context, but I just want to ask you in the teaching of Prajna Paramita, is there any context with soulmates and, if I may, twin soul connects? Do you have like any light shedding text?
If you want to study more, you mean?
No. If somebody is experiencing something like that with feminine and masculine energy, how is supposed to one deal with it?
Oh, this is a very vast. I think you will have to ask somebody else. You will find quite a lot of people who can answer these questions in the coffee shops. Okay.
Why do you use view rather than belief or understanding? And also,
Can you speak it louder?
linguistically, why do you use the word view rather than belief or understanding? And then how are the third and fourth statements of emptiness different from the first 2?
Oh, okay.
为什么
Actually, someone like Mipam Rinpoche would say, belief is fine.
这个问题是说，为什么用见地这个名词，而不用相信或者是理解？那仁波切说，事实上，米饭仁波切会说这个相信是 OK 的。
But when we are studying, we always think that this is what we need to study, as in this is the subject that we have to study. So the word view is, because the belief is more like the subject. So the view, the object, and the belief, the subject.
那因为我们在研究的时候，我们会说，哦，这个是建立一个我们需要去研究的东西，所以见地比较是一个好像客体。那如果用这个相信，比较像是主体的东西。
Okay, the two other, that's an important question actually, because tendency, again, I will, maybe there's too much things to talk tomorrow, but tendency is you may think that emptiness is more higher, holier, or more sort of a more exotic than the form, or the vice versa. So in order to delete that, in order to pacify that, the third and the fourth expression is necessary.
第二个问题是说，为什么要谈色不异空，空不异色？这第三个跟第四个，仁波切是说，因为一般我们有一种倾向，会觉得空比色还要高级，还要神圣，还要更神妙。那所以第三跟第四是去除这种概念。
Because for instance, like you want to understand emptiness, you will even think like that. You will never think, oh, I want to understand form. You will assume that I know about form, but I don't understand this emptiness business. You understand what I mean? Whereas Avalokiteshvara is saying that they are the same thing.
那就举例来说，我们都会想说，哦，我想要了解空，我们大概都不会想说，我想要了解色，因为我们都觉得我们已经知道什么叫做色。那观自在菩萨是想要去除这个观念，就是他觉得色跟空其实是一样的。
Okay, very quick one.
Hello, Rinpoche. How are you?
Very good.
I'm a great admirer of your faculties. I just have to say this.
Okay.
I was wondering, is another word for relative truth, could that be flexibility, versatility instead of deceptiveness? And if it's flexibility, does it matter? I'm not a British Buddhist, by the way, but why not cherry pick? It's all the same thing. You can be flexible. I'm sorry for interrupting your bladder.
Okay, two things I should tell you. You are improving with your character practice.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
仁波切说要告诉他两件事情，这个第一个，他的那个角色扮演的技巧有进步了。
The interesting question, I would actually use the flexibility to shunyata.
他的真正的问题是说，相对真理为什么他不要用这个有弹性，而要用欺瞒的呢？那仁波切是说，他事实上仁波切会用有弹性的来描述空性。
So flexibility more on the ultimate.
Flexibility is not necessary. Flexibility sounds nice.
有弹
Deception,
性
you need that negative word.
是听起来很好听。
Okay, let's.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
好，休息一下。